Yeah. Hello, fellow traders. 'Tis I, the Rumpled One, coming to you on Monday, January the 20th, Inauguration Day, MLK Day. The year is 2025. Let's talk trading. Weekly open and gap with Walmal. These videos are for educational purposes only, and your results may differ from mine and differ from Walmal's. And as always, risk management. Always have your risk management in place. Never lose more than you're willing to lose on any one single trade. Walmal, it's been quite the past hour, hasn't it?
Oh yeah, to say the least. It's funny because I gave you a call and you asked me, "Are you going to trade today?" And said, "No, I don't think so. I mean, you got the U.S. holiday, the bank holiday, you got inauguration. Who knows if this thing's even going to move?" And no more than maybe 5 minutes after that, the thing shot up. If I recall correctly, 104 pips.
Yeah, we were looking at it, and you had said, yeah, it's got about a 60 pip range, and I looked, it was 61 pips range, and then next thing you know, and the funny thing is, I wasn't trading the pound at the time. I was short the yen, and that yen just dropped like a rocket. And whenever I see that happen, I just immediately click out of the trade because you just don't know. As fast as it goes one way, it could turn right around and go the other way twice as fast, twice as far. So I just took my money off the table. But you can see now we're 22 pips off the high on the pound, 125 off the low, and we're 115 pips above that weekly open. If we take a look at the monthly, we're 187 pips off the low, 289 off the high, but we're 224 below the monthly open, and we're just 34 pips below that monthly pivot that we've already taken out. And we have filled all the gaps according to the weekly open gaps according to the dashboard, and we're putting in the opening range for the week, and it's something that I have observed. In fact, I've written an indicator, probably come out later this year with it. If instead of looking at the Monday range as the opening range, I look at the closing range, the Friday candle, or the previous, the last trading day of that week. Sometimes it might be Thursday, just depends. Point is, you can see here that breakout of that Friday high would have paid off nicely. And then for the year, same as the month, 224 below that monthly open. And once again, I got this indicator fixed. It was just a couple lines of code. I forgot to add one to something. And as you can see, 285 off the high, 192 off the low. Inside bar, we had an inside bar 2 trading days ago. And you can see we actually opened below the low, shot above it, and shot through the high. Right now we're 30 pips above that high of that inside bar. And there's a handful of inside bar trades that you can take advantage of. For the day so far, the pound has a range of 148. Let's see, the euro yen's clocking in at 180. That's leading the pack. But we've got, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 pairs over 100 pips of range. That's like back in 2008, 2009, Walmal.
Yep, going way back.
Yeah. So I've got the M30 chart sitting up here, and as you can see, it was crazy. And price did what it likes to do around the double O, which it'll cross the double O, usually get to 3 or 5, come back down, hit the 95, go back up to 05, come back down to the double O, maybe all the way to 95, back up to the double O, back down to the 90, and it did all of that. I know it did all that, but I was in a yen trade trying to, I went long, it went against me, so I was fighting my way out of that trade, and sure enough, the pound did exactly what I thought it was going to do. And then the yen, I had added in, got out with a slight profit. One was a loss, one was a win. Had I left it alone, it went back through my original entry. like it usually does. But one thing about rules is sometimes when you break them, you get lucky, but it's usually best to stick with your rules because especially if you know you have a tendency to buy at inflection points. So when it lets me out with a slight profit, I'd rather get out, walk away, reset, and come back because there's always going to be another trade.
That's exactly right.
Yep.
It's funny because, I look at rules maybe a little bit different than some people look at rules, but I look at rules as things that you put in place to protect yourself from the things that can go against you. I don't look at rules as things that are going to make me money. I look at it as rules as something that goes and protects me from losing money.
Yeah.
So, and you're exactly right. I'd rather be mad that I got out and only got 2 pips and I could have picked up 20 than going and getting out and being down 20 after being up 2.
Right. Yes, and that's happened to me more than once. Happened to me a couple times last week because I didn't follow my rules. So it's just, that human nature thing, that brain management, that psychology. Why do we sometimes, do what we know we're not supposed to do or fail to do what we know we're supposed to do? And for you red rats, the smart rats paying off right now. We're still in the rat zone for the original rat. That's on the pound. And you can see here we hit R3 on the pound. Bambino flex indicator said to go short and you can see here at the pivot near pivot point said to go short. And it definitely paid off a couple of H4 bars ago, but since then, it seems like almost all bets are off.
Yep.
And we took out the daily pivot, and we took out the weekly pivot. Last week's pivot of 123, call it 25, 123.25 hasn't been taken out yet. The actual pivot's 1.23246, just rounding up. And the monthly pivot that hasn't been taken out yet is at 1.25995. Call it 126. And while I'm on this chart, somebody was asking about what's all this stuff mean? It's like open minus the pivot point. And these are all the missed pivots so far. High minus open is 65.5 there. Low minus open is 410.9. So you can see here, open minus pivot point was minus 89. So that means it opened above it. So it missed it by 23.7 pips. But if you had taken that open, fading it, you could have actually picked up 65.5 pips. So that's how you read that side. And this side's pretty much the same. It just shows you here. Right now we're 305 pips below that monthly pivot, and we missed it by 24. So the daily, we've already taken it out, but you see here on the 9th, we're 98 below it, and we missed it by 26. And the wick zone, it just shot right through that upper wick zone. You still trading Walmal?
No, I got 30 pips at this point, actually 29.5, and I'm going to call it. We're going to have the inauguration in a couple hours. I just don't see it being a smart thing to do.
Yeah.
Just, I got more pips than I intended because I did not intend to trade today.
Yeah.
So I got a lot more than I intended to get.
And so the range is 148 right now. We broke out at a previous side by 2 pips on the weekly. We did not break out at a low, so we've got higher high, higher low at the moment. High minus close is 10. Close minus low is 138. And for those weekly open crossover traders, high minus open 137, open minus low 10. looking here at the simple price action chart, you can see we're right around that double O. It went up through the double O. I've got a high print of 123.079. It went all the way down to the 75. We're almost at the bottom of the hour. So it looks like we need to come back down, maybe touch the previous day's high again, but anything can happen. That last hour, 115 pip range on the hour. Oh, I'm sorry, on the not hour, but on the M30, 15 pip range. But I guess the hour's the same.
The hour is the same.
Yeah, but that's just unreal. And I got lucky because I was short on that yen when that happened. And that's one of those things where, if you had a chance to take profit and you didn't, the next thing you know, it could have snapped against you the wrong way, and then you'd be really sad. So, because anything can happen. So sometimes it's just best to take them quick pips, and that way your money is not at risk, because trading is literally putting your money at risk.
And I think that brings up a really good point here. That is that, we always say, make sure you get your stops in place, make sure you're ready and prepared. Because you know what? There wasn't a news drop. There wasn't anything that was planned. They just went and moved 104 pips, literally within a 1 minute candle. And that's the type of stuff that happens. And, and you can get caught flat-footed on that. If you were in heavy that time and and the market moved against you, to wipe your account out.
Yep.
And you're sitting there saying, I have no idea what just happened. I just got slapped in the face. So as the old expression goes, you got to keep your eye on the donut, not the hole. So,
man.
So make sure that you're sitting there and you're keeping an eye on the capital, and you got an exit plan.
Right. And just looking at some of these price turn wick zones here, and you can see here we've got one. H4, we've got one. Walmal, we're looking at that H4 chart. Remember you said it was going to try and break, what was it, the Friday high?
Yep.
It broke it by a little, but we've got, I don't know what you call it, but it's like looking at the H4, we've got,
if you recall what I said was it was going to try to break, the high from last week, which was 05, 049, I think is actually what it was. And then it was going to go and do what the H4 likes to do is, okay, we broke that, turn around and run down in the other direction.
Right.
And it ran all down to the 75. This is what the H4 does on that 9 o'clock hour Eastern time every day. It does something like to break some type of support, and it doesn't usually run even further. It then goes and turns around and runs the other direction. And this time it broke a big resistance area.
Right.
Sometimes it's nothing more than an hourly. That's what it likes to do. And I'm telling you, you can go and make some money off of this.
Yep.
You just have to pay attention to it.
Yes, you can. That's for sure. And so for the range for the month, we're at 476 right now. And let's see, did we push the range? I can't remember. Did we push that range?
I don't know.
For the month. Did we push it this week? No, we have not pushed it. So all those numbers will still be the same. But let's take a quick look here for the month. We've got a lower high and lower low, and we're almost out of time, so I'll do this really quickly. See, we crossed above that weekly pivot, higher high, higher low. Buyer strong control, all the way down to the daily, price above the upper wick zone, buyer strong control. So, fellow traders, always remember and never forget, it's not what you trade, it's how you trade it. So go out there and drain the banks. This is the Rumpled One, over and out.